So let's recap what we've learned about the if-then-else statement. So the if statement identifies which statement or code block to run based on the value of an expression. In other words, based on a specific condition. Inside the code block defined by curly braces, we can have one or multiple statements. And we can use the else statement after the if. In that case, when the condition is false, the else block will be executed. We can also add else if to test multiple conditions. So in the following image, you can see the basic if-then-else statement structure. So we have a test there, in other words, the condition inside the parentheses. When the condition is true, the block inside the if statement will be executed. Now that block can be one statement or multiple statements. When the condition is false, the block inside the else statement will execute. In other words, both blocks will never execute at the same time, only one will, based on the condition being true or false. Now a block there is defined with curly braces. So be careful with the semicolon. There is no semicolon that should be added after the if statement. If you add a semicolon, it can cause unwanted behavior. It'll actually close off the if condition. So make sure you don't put a semicolon on the same line as the if. So let's just go through one more example here. So you can see the code on the screen there. And the first part of the code there, in parentheses, score greater than or equal to 5,000, we're testing that expression. In this case, because we've defined on the previous line the score being 5,000, the expression score greater than or equal to 5,000 is true. So in that scenario, what's going to happen is the code block following will be executed, and you can see the 2 there pointing out to that. In this case, the output will print your score was greater than or equal to 2,000. When it's finished, the code will then jump to the first line after the last curly brace and continue with the rest of the program. So you can see it will effectively ignore the else component, because in this case the expression score greater than or equal to 5,000 was evaluated as true. Okay, so for this slide, here the score is set to 800. So in step 1, the condition will be false. This is the expression score greater than or equal to 5,000, because of course the score here isn't greater than or equal to 5,000. So in that scenario, the next condition will be yet to be evaluated will be step 2, and that will be true since score is less than 1,000 and it's greater than or equal to 500. So remember the two ampersand operators, the AND operator, both conditions need to be true, and the end result here is true. So therefore the code block on the next line will be executed, and the message your score was less than 1,000 but greater than or equal to 500 will be displayed on the screen, and then it will jump down to the first line after the last curly brace and continue with the rest of the program. Alright, so in this last slide, the first test there, we're going to get a false, and that's because the score has been defined on the first line as score equal 200, and we're evaluating with the expression score greater than or equal to 5,000. So consequently, the code then goes to the second line, the else if, because it was false, and we're evaluating a test here for score being less than 1,000 and score being greater than or equal to 500. And in that scenario, that expression is now false because score isn't greater than or equal to 500. So at this point, since we don't have any other conditions, the else block will be executed and the message your score was less than 500 will be printed. And obviously there's only one statement in that final else code block. Once that's finished, the code continues after that block, in other words, after the last brace. So that was a recap of the if statement. Let's move on now to the next video.